Machiavelli once said, "Whoever causes another to become powerful ruins himself." Most betrayals are born when you make someone feel small, even unintentionally. They don't just want equality, they want revenge. The truth is simple, but brutal. People rarely betray you out of evil. They betray you because your existence reminds them of what they're not. Every friend has two sides, the one who cheers for you and the one who secretly competes with you. The line between loyalty and envy is paper thin. So today, we're not just studying betrayal. We're dissecting it, because until you understand the anatomy of betrayal, you'll never see it coming. The most dangerous illusion is believing someone would never hurt you. Friendship, at its core, is a social contract built on shared comfort, validation, or survival. But like all contracts, it has hidden terms. We don't choose friends based purely on values. We choose them because they meet emotional needs, understanding, attention, belonging. Yet when those needs evolve, when one grows faster, earns more, or gains respect, equilibrium breaks. One friend transforms into a mirror reflecting the other's insecurities. The mutual utility principle. Most relationships last only as long as both parties extract something: comfort, status, or usefulness. The hidden hierarchy. Even among friends, one always leads and the other follows. The moment that dynamic shifts, tension begins. The sympathy trap. Weak people attach to you not out of love, but dependency. And dependency eventually mutates into resentment. Friendship without balance breeds emotional debt, and all debts must eventually be paid, often through betrayal. People envy most what they once desired, but failed to become. Envy is betrayal's first heartbeat. It begins small, admiration tinted with discomfort. But when comparison becomes unbearable, love mutates into silent hostility. Don't forget these principles. Proximity principle. We envy those closest to us more than distant figures because they're within reach of our comparison. Mirror conflict. Your progress reflects their stagnation. Your light amplifies their shadows. Cognitive dissonance. They can't accept that someone like them could surpass them, so they justify betrayal as balance restoration. Look at historical example. When Caesar was betrayed by Brutus, it wasn't hatred that fueled the knife. It was conflicted envy. Brutus loved him, but couldn't bear his dominance. That's the paradox. Betrayal is often love that couldn't survive comparison. Admiration and envy are born from the same womb. One gives life to loyalty, the other to treachery. You've probably felt it too. The friend who starts acting distant after your small win, or the one who downplays your success as luck. They're not angry at you. They're angry at what your existence makes them feel about themselves. Even in friendship, someone always holds the throne. Human connection is a hierarchy disguised as equality. One leads emotionally, socially, or intellectually, while the other follows. That's not cruelty. That's structure. But power rarely stays still. When the follower feels small long enough, resentment brews, and betrayal becomes a declaration of independence. Remember the childhood friend who needed you for guidance, then one day mocked your opinions publicly. That wasn't random rebellion. That was rebellion against invisible control. Friendship is emotional politics. Loyalty isn't broken by conflict. It's broken when one side stops benefiting from submission. People betray not because they're cruel, but because they want to feel equal again. Betrayal is never sudden. It's a slow rehearsal for the final act. Every betrayal begins with silence, a glance that lingers too long, a compliment that doesn't sound genuine, the slow withdrawal of warmth. The mind of a future betrayer rehearses betrayal quietly, testing distance, excuses, and moral justification. Humans can't live long in perceived inferiority. Their ego finds ways to rewrite reality. Betrayal becomes ego's final rewrite. See here, a partner or friend doesn't betray because they stopped caring, but because caring became painful under comparison. And remember, betrayal is an emotional suicide disguised as self-respect. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's betrayal. When someone once adored you, their ego was invested in your image. The moment that image fractures, when you outgrow, reject, or expose them, their ego feels humiliation, not heartbreak. To destroy that pain, they must destroy you, emotionally, socially, or mentally. That's why the deepest betrayals come from those who once cared most. We hate most those who are slightly different but too similar, because they threaten our identity. Love's intensity doesn't vanish. It mutates. The betrayer must turn you into the villain to survive their guilt. Remember that example. Think of the ex-friend who once defended you, now spreading rumors. They're not trying to destroy you. They're trying to erase the version of themselves who once needed you. Loyalty isn't lost in betrayal. It's revealed. You were never on the same side, only walking parallel until envy drew the line. Betrayal isn't an accident. It's architecture. Every knife in the back was first drawn in the mind, long before it pierced the skin. The truth is, no one betrays in a single moment. They build it, piece by piece, excuse by excuse, smile by smile. And by the time you see it, the foundation has already been laid, with your own trust as the cement. How the betrayer thinks, plans, manipulates, and rationalizes. You'll see betrayal not as chaos, but as calculation, a dark science of power and ego management. People betray not when they stop caring, but when caring no longer benefits them. The manipulator's brain works like a chessboard. Every move is calculated around gain versus cost. Morality is not a compass, it's camouflage. Remember traits of the betrayer. 1, he is self-preservation above all, because every relationship is a transaction of benefit. When benefits drop, loyalty evaporates. 2, he is cognitive flexibility because they can justify contradictions easily. They'll hurt you while believing they're doing nothing wrong. 3, is emotional intelligence. Weaponize, because they know what you feel, but not to connect, to control. A business partner who leaves with your clients doesn't see it as theft. He sees it as evolution. You played fair, he played smart. Different moral codes, same battlefield. The manipulator doesn't lie because he must. He lies because truth is too inefficient. They never wanted your friendship. They wanted your energy disguised as affection. Manipulators identify emotional givers, people who are loyal, empathetic, and forgiving. Then they feed on those qualities. Look at the parasite cycle. First you have attachment phase, in which they mirror your values, creating emotional alignment. Then extraction phase, in which they draw validation, advice, access, or attention, while making you dependent on their approval. Then discard phase, in which once your usefulness ends, they detach coldly, leaving confusion behind. They once called you their closest friend. Now they mock your ideas publicly. That's not confusion. It's calculated devaluation. They must minimize you to justify leaving you. Don't forget next line. It will change your emotional intelligence. Emotional parasites don't destroy you for fun. They destroy you to erase their own dependence. A liar who hides behind virtue is far more dangerous than a known enemy. Deception is betrayal's sharpest weapon. It's never loud, it's patient. Every smile, every reassurance, every don't worry is a move in the long game. Deceivers need validation. Their betrayal feels justified only if they can rewrite the story where you deserved it. Listen here, nice guy. A friend likes your private conversation, then plays mediator between you and others. He didn't betray you by accident. He used chaos to reposition himself socially. The cleverest traitor doesn't stab you in the dark. He hands you the knife and lets you cut yourself. No one thinks of themselves as the villain. Not even your betrayer humans have an innate need to see themselves as good. So when they commit betrayal, they must reconstruct the story. Where they are not wrong, you are. Machiavelli argued that a ruler who harms must do so with justification, quickly, decisively, and with moral camouflage. Modern betrayers do the same. They need to believe it was necessary. The cruelest betrayal always wears the mask of moral righteousness. The worst wounds are not cut by words, but by absence. After betrayal, the betrayer rarely vanishes immediately. They linger, to control the narrative, to monitor your reaction, to drain your emotional stability. Betrayal isn't loud, it's quiet, strategic, and psychological. It doesn't destroy you in one blow. It drains you through silence, guilt, and control. It begins with ghosting, silence, as punishment. They vanish, forcing you to chase, to question, to beg for closure. The more you reach, the more power they feel. Then comes guilt induction, where they twist reality until you believe you're the reason they betrayed you. It's not truth they seek. It's emotional control. Next is public neutrality, pretending peace while isolating you socially. They post about growth and forgiveness while quietly aligning with those who once opposed you. Then comes symbolic humiliation, subtle jabs, likes on your rivals' posts, small acts that sting in silence. Each move whispers, "You don't matter anymore." But beneath it all, betrayal feeds on one thing: your reaction. They want to see you broken, to confirm their narrative that you are weak. That's why the greatest revenge isn't confrontation. It's indifference. When you stop reacting, their power collapses. A friend who once stood beside you now laughs with your rival. Not because he's moved on, but because he wants you to see it. It's not friendship he's after. It's validation through your pain. But when you no longer give it, when your silence becomes strength, the war ends. They feed on your reaction. The moment you stop giving it, you win. Betrayal is a system, not an emotion. Every manipulator follows a pattern: bond, drain, rewrite, replace. Once you see the blueprint, you stop blaming yourself and start understanding power. The betrayed suffer because they think betrayal is personal. It never is. It's strategic, a move made by those too afraid to confront their own weakness. In the next chapter, you'll learn how to become immune, how to rise from betrayal with ruthless calm. We'll rebuild the betrayed mind into a weapon, one that no manipulation, no deceit, no betrayal can ever wound again. Forgive nothing. Forget nothing. Learn everything. Pain changes people, but only a few know how to use it. Most drown in it, replaying memories like a curse. But the strong, they refine it. They take betrayal, rejection, and humiliation and forge it into power. After betrayal, your mind becomes a battlefield. Every thought pulls you back to what you lost. That's exactly where weakness is born, in obsession, Emotional control isn't about feeling nothing. It's about choosing what deserves your energy. The moment you stop feeding the wound, it stops bleeding. The first step is detachment. You don't heal by forgiving. You heal by observing. Watch your emotions like a strategist watches his enemy. Without reacting. The betrayer wants to own your attention. Deny them that. Indifference isn't cruelty. It's strategy. When you master it, you reclaim authority over your mind. Then comes reframing. Stop asking, why did they hurt me? Start asking, what did it reveal about me? Pain exposes your blind spots, your dependence, your illusions of loyalty. Every wound holds information, and that information becomes power when understood. Machiavelli taught that a wise man learns more from his enemies than his friends. Betrayal, then, is not loss. It's intelligence gained at a heavy cost. Finally, transmutation, turning pain into purpose. Every emotion you suppress turns toxic. Every emotion you channel becomes fuel. You don't destroy darkness by fighting it. You consume it, digest it, and let it sharpen you. Your silence becomes focus. Your hurt becomes ambition. What once broke you now builds you. So when they look back, expecting to see the version of you they left behind, let them face someone unrecognizable. Calmer, colder, untouchable. That's real revenge. Not shouting, not proving, not explaining, but existing so far above their reach that even your absence feels powerful. They wanted you to break. Instead, you became unreadable. That's the essence of emotional control, not the death of feeling, but the rebirth of dominance. They wanted you broken. Instead, you became unreadable. That's emotional control. The moment your pain stops being their victory and becomes your weapon. History remembers this truth better than anyone. Power has always been betrayed, and every betrayal carries the same lesson. Never mistake closeness for loyalty. Julius Caesar learned it through Brutus's blade, the Templars through the king's deceit. Both trusted, and both fell to the same human weakness. Envy disguised as loyalty. Power doesn't collapse overnight. It's corroded by trust. Julius Caesar ruled Rome with unmatched influence, but his greatest mistake wasn't ambition. It was faith. He believed loyalty was stronger than envy. And then came the knife. When Brutus, the man he saw as a son, joined the conspirators, Caesar didn't fight back. He simply looked at him and said, "Et tu, brute." Even you, Brutus. It wasn't the wound that killed him. It was the realization that betrayal doesn't come from enemies. It comes from those who smile while sharpening their blades. The Knights Templar, warriors of faith, protectors of kings, rose with loyalty and fell through betrayal. King Philip IV of France owed them debt and feared their growing power. So, he turned devotion into destruction. He praised them publicly, while plotting secretly. On a single night in 1307, his men arrested every Templar in France, branding them heretics. Their leader, Jacques de Molay, was burned alive, and with his dying breath, he cursed the king and the pope for their treachery. His final words were said to echo through time. God knows who is wrong and has sinned. Soon calamity shall befall those who have condemned us. And within a year, both the Pope and the King were dead. In the end, betrayal is the price of power, a shadow that follows anyone who dares to rise. It teaches through pain what comfort never could, that loyalty has limits, and trust must be earned through observation, not emotion. Those who betray reveal more about their weakness than your worth. So don't seek revenge, and don't seek closure. Become the version of yourself that no betrayal can shake. because true dominance isn't built on fear or control. It's built on silence, clarity, and the strength to walk away untouched.